Hey, welcome everybody. My name is Bob. I'm the Rocket City Reseller, and you reach Launchpad, the Reseller Podcast. And we are your mission control for all things reselling, whether you've been selling for 20 minutes or 20 years. We are sure that there's something that we can learn together. And we have some co hosts that we do this thing with, and I couldn't do without from the wild, wacky world of whatnot. She shed 244 Ashley, and of course, our homeschooling mama. When she's not schooling those babies, she's schooling us in all things toys. Tennessee
Hey,
Treasures Ellie.
everybody.
And of course, our guest today. Profiling, styling, limousine riding, jet flying, man about town, storage locker dominator, YouTube sensation, Wade Ventures. Welcome in, Wade.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I got to say though, the toys in the background is insanely cool. I mean, that is a great backdrop.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, all you guys have great backdrops, but that's awesome. The plushies in the back.
Yeah, this is my wife's personal collection back here.
Oh,
So she has anything from a Wuzzle to a Care Bear to Rainbow Bright, you name it.
Well, we're not the only ones. I mean, you can sneak back there. You'll see my little
Look at
plushie collection right
this.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Look at that warehouse.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in just a second. But
Yeah, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's
Well,
a lot,
first of all,
a lot of cool.
we want to say thank you for being here. As a small channel on YouTube, it can be tough out there in those streets. And we appreciate all the collaboration and help and being so gracious and accepting to us. And we want to get into all the things about Wade Ventures and how you got started, and because there may be somebody out there that doesn't know yet, and I find that hard to believe at this point. But let's go ahead and talk about you for a second.
Well, it actually is not hard to believe because there's a local group out there that is ran by a friend of mine. It's got 180,000 people on there, and I posted in there recently. I think 99% of them didn't know who I was. So, yeah, in a storage auction group, which is crazy. But yeah, I appreciate the invites. This is going to be really cool, and I actually got my start on YouTube by interviewing people, other resellers. So this is kind of part of my. I just enjoy the community, the reselling community, and I think the three of you and your special guest every time here on the podcast is going to help a lot of people. It's going to help a lot of resellers out there, and a lot of extra people. A lot of people need to make extra money, and this is really a cool resource. So I'm really glad to be here, and I appreciate the invite, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So hopefully I've got some good information for you. I can't guarantee it though.
I think so.
We got old school flips saying hello in chat. He says, "I know Wade. We met in Vegas."
Hey.
Jimmy Old School Flip was just recently on the podcast, and we can't say enough about Jimmy.
Yeah.
The toy guru extraordinaire is what I like to think of him as. He's definitely locked in there.
A lot of money in toys. A lot of money in toys.
Right,
Somebody
so we
knows
also-
right there.
That's all I saw.
It's all three of us.
Yeah.
all toys?
All toys.
Oh my gosh, we're a little mini Toys R Us over here.
Yeah.
Oh man. Wow.
I think we're at 7,300 last count listed.
Whoa.
And we're actually growing. We actually have another 2,000 to 4,000, I think, more to put up. And we're going to be going off on a 5-day trip across the southern states to do some sourcing, and we can't wait to do that. But enough about me. Let's go back to you, Wade. Nice try. Nice try, buddy.
that was my goal, ladies and gentlemen. That was my goal.
You caught me, Bob.
Yeah. I'm here to learn too.
Let's talk about your first storage locker. That seems like a good place to start. I mean, what made you get? What was it? We talked a little bit off camera. What made you think about documenting it? And were you doing that before the lockers came? Was it in conjunction with each other?
That's a great question. So originally I actually it's kind of interesting timeline. So I started storage units while I had a full-time corporate job, and I saw the show and I got addicted, and at that point I did a little reselling, but the knowledge I have now, I wish I could give myself back then. I mean, I undersold so much stuff. But that being said, I saw the show, really liked it, wanted to try it. And this is back before, this was almost 14, 15 years ago now. And I bought a storage unit in person because back then it was more in person. Now it's more online since COVID. And so I bought my first storage units. Didn't know what I was doing. Way overpaid for it. It's probably worth $50. And of course, I spent $410. I know the exact amount. And I just remember going in there and it was full of metal and broken. Like, this guy was a mechanic, but everything was in pieces. And I didn't make any money on it. In fact, I lost money. And the worst part about it was I put a lot of the metal in my truck, but at that time I didn't have a box truck, and it scratched like half of my. It was. I just remember that unit vividly. It was one of the worst units I ever bought. But just like anything you're doing, whether it's storage units or reselling or whatever you're doing in life, and that's new, you need to do proof of concept. So you at least have to try it 5 times to make sure it won't work. A lot of people give up too early. And I gave it 5 times, and then 2 more storage units after that, I made $100,000 and was hooked. So,
wow.
Yeah. So
that's changing.
Yeah. And so I truly believe that storage units is the only way that you can really make a year based on one unit, right? Because thrifting, there's a lot of money. There's a lot of money in garage sales, estate sales. I've done it all. But storage units, if you get a really good one, they can be worth $50 all the way up to $100,000 or more for one unit. It can make your whole year just by one purchase. And I only spent $650 on that unit, and it was a 10 by 25 packed full of vintage Nike from the 80s and 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're out there, folks. You just got to find them. Yeah. So, I mean,
wild.
Yeah. And after that, I was hooked. And, I was, my wife, Ashley, was like, oh, what are we getting into now? Because it's always something different. It was gold stretchy. Now it's storage units. It's like just one thing after another, but this stuck. And then, so I bought that unit. I was not on YouTube at the time. And then about 3 weeks later after that, I started a YouTube channel up, and I did a combination of storage units. By the way, that footage was absolutely horrible. If you go back and watch some of those old videos, it was so bad.
So was mine.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like, what was I thinking? But it's a combination of doing that. And then I also interviewed resellers, just like kind of what we're doing now. Just because I wanted to be part of the community and learn the reselling side of it, because there's 2 different sides. There's the buying side of the storage units, and then once you get the inventory of the stuff, you got to find a way to get rid of it, or you become a hoarder quick.
Yes.
And I didn't want to be on that show, so I had to find a way. Yeah. So that would have been, actually, looking back on it, I would love to be on that show just for an episode. But sometimes this warehouse looks like I could be on that show. But that being said, that's kind of how I got started. And the real reason, though, if you were to ask me why I started a YouTube channel, it was because I wanted to have videos with my mom. And so I thought that was really important. I'm really attached to her. And if something happened to her, I want to go back and watch that footage. And so it wasn't about the money. It was just about putting her on camera. And so I can kind of spend time with her. And that's the real reason. And then it just kind of bloomed from there. And now we have a warehouse. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's heartfelt. Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
Hashtag, is it Grandma Ventures? Is that
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
some people,
if you guys aren't subbing to that, make sure
she blew up. She's at like 10,000 subscribers now. So she's crazy
killing
now.
It.
Yeah.
Amazing.
She's killing it. So
killing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome that you have that connection so strongly, and that you can have the love of reselling and the love of storage lockers together.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just something that transcends, I think, reselling.
Yeah. You got to ask yourself, why are you doing this? And for me, it was to spend more time with the family and to be able to do whatever I want with the family. We took 3 Disney trips last year.
Wow.
And we talked a little bit off camera here, and it's like, there's no problem working for a company. You get your health care, you get guaranteed check. So people that are watching, don't think that you need to go full time and just ditch whatever you're doing. Even part-time's great. But at the end of the day, if something happened to me at my corporate job, they would just replace me tomorrow. So I really wanted to kind of build my own thing. And that's what happened. Of course you have to do it responsibly. make sure you're making money before you transition. And, that's a whole nother topic, but that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool.
Cool.
So I've been watching you since I don't know if you said what year you started, 2018, 2019?
Yeah. So I think it was, so I bought a house in 2004. God, time flies by, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And I want to say 16 before YouTube was when I started really ramping up. But I wasn't on YouTube for a couple of years. So I was buying, storage units locally without being on YouTube. But then I wised up and put myself on YouTube about 2 years after that. So yeah, right around there.
So
Yeah.
that's around the time that I started watching. I want to say closer to 2019. And I remember always seeing Grandma Ventures on the video. I remember me and my husband would be searching up, what did he find? We would be screenshotting it and searching up, what did he find? And how cool, right? So definitely a throwback, and part of the reason that I started reselling in the first place. And I started reselling anything and everything.
Yeah.
We did thrift stores and stuff, but I also did some dumpster diving and curbside.
Yeah.
I would sell skis, I would sell skateboards and big stuff, golf bags, stuff that I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah. There's money in dumpster diving too. It's crazy out there,
It's an entire niche all to its own.
Yeah. I tried that for a little bit. We did a show called Dumpster Wars, if you've never seen it, but
No, I don't think I saw that.
you should. We did it. It was me, Lindy, Glenn, and
I love her.
and a few other creators did that show. It was a lot of fun.
Okay,
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. There's nothing like diving. I did one. I didn't know it was like a blood, because we were in the back of the building, and it was like this blood dry place, and I opened it up and it was just full of that stuff, and I thought, oh gosh, yeah. Not going in there.
So I have a question, because you started doing auctions live on YouTube way before Whatnot. Is that right?
Yeah.
So how did you guys manage? Whatnot is nice. You just click a couple buttons and everything's taken care of. How did you manage keeping track of inventory, or how did that work for you guys?
That's a great question. So a lot of people don't know this, but I was doing auctions, like you said, on YouTube before Whatnot even existed.
Yeah.
And before eBay did their auctions. In fact, an exec from Poshmark reached out to me and was talking to me about auctions even before they started it.
Wow.
Nobody knows that, but I was actually one that kind of started Poshmark auctions as well. So, the way that it worked back then was I would literally have people bid in chats, and then we would cut the bid. Highest bidder would then pay me on PayPal, and then I would ship out their items using a label from PayPal. So that's kind of how we got started. Obviously, it's evolved now with Whatnot. I don't do YouTube auctions anymore because they were great. And it was also a way to connect with your community, because you're right live on your YouTube channel. So you really got to know people, and their husband and the whole thing, their dog and cats and stuff, and just everything like that. But at the end of the day, though, it was just took so much time, because Whatnot obviously has 10 seconds, 15 seconds,
Right.
and some of these lots were taking 2 minutes to sell per. So but it's a great way to connect with your community, and people still do it, but that's what I was doing. I was selling directly from YouTube, and then Whatnot reached out to me, the people that run Whatnot, and they're like, hey, Wade, we'll put you under contract for 6 months. Can you promote us and then sell on their site? So for, I think, the first 6 months, I was making $4,000 to $5,000 a month from Whatnot just by promoting them, and then I would sell on their site. And now I love Whatnot. I think it's a great platform to sell on. You still get to connect with people, and then on top of that, you can make some serious money on there. It's done right. So, yeah. So
I always wondered. That was a great incentive, but I always wondered if you would avoid Whatnot, towards the beginning when Whatnot started, because of fees. I'm like, he doesn't pay fees on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's genius, but
yeah. So
But-
no, it was I did avoid them for they reached out to me, I think 4 or 5 times trying to get me over there, and I was like, no, because I was comfortable doing auctions on YouTube. I had no idea what Whatnot was really. I mean, I had the idea of it, but I've never done it before. And then they're like, okay, we're going to pay you. The first month they paid me $5,000, and then it tiered down to $4,000 for $5,000, I'll try you guys out. And
Yeah.
That's a
and
good incentive.
Twist
Yeah.
my arm.
yeah, so that's what I did. Basically, I got paid to go over there, but I don't get paid anymore, and I still use the platform.
Yeah.
That was quite a few months ago. So we all got paid. Me, Jeebus, and all the storage creators got
Right.
paid and put on a contract. So
Amazing.
yeah, great platform though. And by the way, you should follow all three of these hosts here. Make sure you guys follow. I'm gonna follow you guys, and then that way maybe I can rate a few of you if I'm live. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I might panic, but
nah, you're good.
I'll be like,
You're
what? Wait, Spencer.
These two are pros at it. I try to be as consistent as I can,
Yeah.
being full time at my regular job. But these guys are killing it every day, signing in, checking in, consistency, grind. You know the story. It's as old as time.
Yeah.
People
Yes, and then-
misconstrue luck, but they don't see the hard work that goes behind it. The consistency, the showing up, the 11 p.m. nights, the 5 a.m. mornings.
Yeah, they don't. And another thing too is what people don't realize, because Whatnot is tough to grow at the beginning if you don't have an audience. It was much easier for me, but for the average person, it's a little harder. And the way you get around that is you can build your own Whatnot community, but think of the first 3 months as tuition, just like if you went to college or a trade school or anything that you do in life. It takes a little bit of money and time possibly. And so at the very beginning, which helped me and it would help anybody, is just run givvies every 5 minutes. Yes, you're giving away something every 5 minutes. You have to pay shipping. And yes, majority of the people that are there for the givvies don't buy anything from you. I recognize that, right? But I also think truly that Whatnot is like an algorithm that you want as many people on there as possible, and then go off of that. And so even having those freebie type people on there is good. It shows activity, because there's something to be said about being part of the cool club when you're scrolling on anything and you see a lot of viewers.
Yes.
They're like, okay, maybe they have something good, right? So that it's all perception based. So for me, at least, if I was brand new, I would do gibbies every 5 minutes. Understand that you're probably going to lose money for a little bit, and then obviously promote your show. You can do that as well. But make sure you have a great banner and good name, and you're giving away good product, even if you're going to lose money for the first couple of months. But then after that, you're going to start seeing dividends, and people are going to start coming back. And the most important thing is, for me at least, is people love you for you. It's not the stuff. People ask me all the time, why is your stuff more expensive than eBay? And what they don't realize is they're buying it. I'm not trying to be part of the, I'm not this extraordinary person, or they just buy from me to support the family, right? Because they're invested in me as a person, because it took time to build that, and you guys will build that as well. It just takes time. But then you'll start seeing those higher prices. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what it is it's a great community, period. Because that's what sold me on. I don't know how I found Whatnot. I don't know how I got on there, but just being in people's shows, the camaraderie, everybody, it's the atmosphere. It's everyone that's in the room that, yes, they're there. They're talking to you. You can't see them, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I made so many great relationships. Obviously, I met both of these young ladies through Whatnot, and we're almost like a family, quite honestly. It's interesting, and we are not too far from each other, so we're all within the southern states, within a few hours of each other. And I get a chance to at least twice or 3 times a month to see Ellie, Tennessee Treasures, and source with her in Nashville. And I can't say enough about that area and all the sourcing, that capabilities out there. So get out there and source, man. Source. Yep. That's the key. I'm sure Wade could tell you. I mean, if it wasn't for storage lockers, it'd be something else, I'm sure. Putting yourself out there.
Yeah, Nashville, by the way, is where Grandma Ventures wants to go so bad.
We calm down, man.
Come on, Grandma Ventures.
We'll show you around. We'll take Grandma Ventures out to the bins.
Yes.
We got her.
She would love to go. She talks about it all the time. Nashville, and then she wants to see the castles in Scotland. So I was like, okay.
Just so you know, that the Nashville flipper, our flippers, Ray, he actually has a YouTube channel, if you're not familiar.
Nice.
And he actually hosts every year, well, the last 2 years, the Nashville Reseller Meetup. And if you're in that local area, I think it's a little later this year. I heard rumors maybe end of May, early June. There's still not a date locked in for that, but it might be an opportunity to get with like-minded people, come out, be a part of a meetup, even if it's not this one. Can't say enough about, networking, getting yourself in front of, making connections, because a lot of what's going on behind the scenes is through those connections and growing that community. So
100%. I couldn't say that any better myself. eBay Open is another, all these events that I've been to. It's you meet so many cool people and you bring it home with you and you network, but also sometimes leaves to good inventory.
Yeah.
So that it's fun to do it with somebody else too. I mean, I love my wife to death, but she's not a natural reseller. If I wasn't doing this, she wouldn't be doing it. So it's hard to talk shop all the time, and you need those people to keep you hungry. So
somebody who understands that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have the wife that I do have. She's a full-time reseller. She's actually in chat, Amanda Smith.
Nice.
She's Fiona's Finds on Whatnot. Make sure you guys are following her there. She has great deals too. She's a Little People reseller. She does that.
Yeah.
She does doorables. She does plush. Vera Bradley, she sells like just about everything almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is actually just a storm, a force to be reckoned with is oftentimes the term that I use. And she actually keeps this business up and running, and we're doing really well because of it. And she's done quite a large task, and we're doing the Disney Dream Vacations too now because of Whatnot and because of online reselling and all the things. So I want to just give people hope that, if you are looking to do that as a vacation, because right now the American dream is to have a home, a vacation, all the things, right? If that's what your goal is, reselling can provide that to you. If your goal is just to keep the lights on, let me just tell you, Whatnot, if you get to 1,000 sales, you get instant payout after that, as long as you complete the order and it ships. So that can make the difference between keeping the lights on and keeping, your prescriptions filled. If you're retired and you don't want to go back to a traditional job, think about reselling. It might be the way.
I agree. Somebody said TDK Collects is really good. He actually called me today, so I got to give him a call back. But there's a lot of cool storage auction buyers, especially in Florida, and Locker Nuts is great too. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, the thing about reselling is that you got to ask yourself why you want to get into it. I mean, a lot of people they love the fact that they can buy something and make a profit, but there's a lot of things that go into it. You can spend more time with family. You can, you're not bound by PTO, you can take time off and do different things like this guy. Eventually though, he'll be full time.
PTO. I take PTO just to do these podcasts sometimes. Little known fact.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of reasons why you want to do it, but the biggest thing that I can tell you going from a full-time corporate job, because I made $200,000 my last year with corporate, like I was making very good money. You leave that comfort, even if you're making $50,000 a year, it's kind of comforting to know that you're getting a check, you have healthcare. So you got to make sure all your ducks in a row before you leave, make sure that you can afford to buy stuff, to flip stuff. And there's so many different check marks that you want to make sure that are checked before you leave, because the worst part about it is, you're capable of it, but you do the full-time reselling after leaving a job and then have to go back to a job because you weren't prepared. And you could have been prepared and you could have stayed full-time, but you had to go back because you weren't. So you got to be prepared and make sure that all those check boxes are checked. For me, and it's never a perfect time. It never is, at least it wasn't for me anyway.
Yeah.
Never a perfect time, but I'm glad I did. Storage units has afforded me and my family to do whatever we want, when we want, as long as we're working hard in between, in between the vacations and time.
Yeah, I think that's, I was going to say, go ahead, Ellie.
As far as knowing what you're getting into, know that somebody's going to call you a hoarder at some point in this.
Yeah.
And know your limit as far as space.
Yeah.
That's definitely one thing. So
it's a razor's edge. It's a razor's edge. It really is.
It's also not just like, I get that sourcing is the fun part, right? But work is like 24/7. There's always work to be done. You could be listing on the couch while you're watching a movie, or there's always something to be done. So
when passion meets purpose, it's hard to feel those 40, 60 hours that you're putting in.
That is true.
It's just harder to do it. And that's the thing. people often ask, what's the meaning of life? Well, the meaning of life is purpose. What's your purpose? If you can find that, now put the money aside for a second. The money will come when you find what you're passionate about.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that, and that's what this podcast is about transcending to that mindset, because that's an entrepreneurship mindset. So you have to be able to train yourself and stay disciplined and be consistent. Do those reps, go into the gym, show up for yourself. So
I couldn't, the funny thing is people ask me all the time about YouTube, and they want to start a YouTube channel. And I found over the years, the last 10 years, that the people that are successful on YouTube are not the ones that are thinking about the money. They find a way to help people. I think the biggest question you got to ask yourself when you're doing anything is this going to help somebody? And when you buy something to flip it, you're actually helping somebody, because somebody else is going to find that item that they want. So if anything, everything that you do throughout your process, you're trying to help somebody in some way, money will fly in. But the moment you're worried about the money and not the process, you'll never succeed. And all those people created those channels. They all don't work, or they don't post anything anymore, or they stop doing it, and it's because they thought of the money first. So, you got to think of your why. That's great though. That was great advice.
Yeah. It's always the same thing for me is the who, what, why, where, when, and how. Yeah. Once you figure that stuff out, ask those deep questions to yourself before you even go further, and kind of lock into the reason, because I guarantee you a lot of it is going to be freedom, not begging somebody to take time off to be at your son's soccer game or your daughter's recital or something of that nature. You may have to work 10 additional hours because of it at a time that you would prefer not to, but you do have the freedom to do those things. And I can't say how much reselling can actually help with that. So the freedom that you get back is worth, and to me, in spades, like back.
I agree. Yeah. It's, I like the fact that I can do whatever I want, whenever I want, and it's just, but the caveat to that is kind of what you were talking about, Tennessee, is you got to put in the work. And, I think realizing what you're, for me, at least that worked for me the last few years, especially getting this warehouse, is realizing what I'm bad at and either trying to fix that or get somebody to do that role for me so I can succeed in other ways, and that's what I've been doing the last few years, and it's really helped. There's things that I know I suck at, and I either got to do the job that I don't like doing, or I need to hire it out or get some help for somebody to fill those shoes so I can be good at what I'm doing, and that's what I've been trying to work out the last couple of years as well.
Productivity is important for sure.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm available on Fiverr. Just
I might need you, actually. We'll have to see. I don't know. It's been a little spotty lately over here.
I mean, I'm a data scientist. I use it as a lever in reselling. It's a lot of fun for me because that's kind of what I'm degreed in. So I'm able to kind of look at the data and kind of look at trends and see, and I see signal and noise when I look at things. I think in a logical way because of it, and it helps with reselling. So I'll give you an example. Recently we pulled it's called a Gigglescape. It's a plush by Target. We're seeing a lot of that come across as asks through Whatnot. And that's a good indicator. That's why I like online reselling or live reselling, because you can start seeing trends earlier, what people want, and you can move that to static listing. Yep. Okay, I know that there's a immediate need for that. Let me go ahead and get all that stuff that's in my death pile that I have of that, get that listed, and kind of move the needle in that way. That's just one example. So when you see that, you can just do trend analysis yourself and be able to push that stuff through.
I like that. It's so weird for me, so 2020, when everything hit the fan a little bit, it was like, death piles were always just kind of a negative thing to, resellers just always thought death piles is bad. But now I've actually changed my tune a little bit on it. As long as you're responsible and you're listing constantly, I don't mind having an inventory pile, death pile, sitting here waiting. Especially, I'm not saying that will ever happen again, but, God forbid, I can't buy storage units for some reason. I need a way to list product, right? And so now I do keep a little bit of a pile. It's not very big. I think where people go wrong is they're not listing and they continue to accumulate. As long as you're like listing and you're accumulating, it should be fine. So that's kind of the way I look at it now, because I got stuck in 2020. I didn't have any inventory, when everything shut down. So for a good 4 months, I was really scrambling because these facilities legally could not auction off any of these units because, they were bound by either state or government law. So yeah, I got stuck for a little bit there. So I had to get a little pile going, but the healthy part obviously is making sure you're listing, because if it's not listed, nobody's going to buy it.
So let's talk about that. So obviously you're buying all these lockers. Where are you listing? Are you listing across all the static? What's that look like for you?
Yeah. So I primarily I've got 2,600 items on eBay, which is not a lot. My goal is to be right around 7,000 or 8,000 before the end of the year. This warehouse, as you see, this is just one wall, but I can fit about probably 8,000 items in here comfortably. So we're listed on eBay right now. I've got B, my amazing full-time help over here. She helps me list, and then I list as well. So we're doing that. We also have Whatnots, those Whatnot shows. We'll start ramping those up. Right now I'm averaging 3 or 4 shows a month, but I would like to get that a little higher. So I've got Whatnots, got eBay, also doing local auctions. So we did our first local auction, which is really unique. A buddy of mine who is in Oklahoma, Maniverse Mystery, Jason, he's been doing this for years now, and he makes like $1,700 to $2,500 a week. And all he does is he posts. Yeah, it's really cool. So he created a channel, created a Facebook group, right? And he will post one picture of an item, and then in the comments, they'll bid on it, just like an auction. And then for a week, they'll bid on it. And then after that week is up, at a certain time, it's cut off. He'll like the comment that is the highest bid, and then they'll just show up at his house or his warehouse and hand him cash. So I was like, well, sign me up.
For real.
I'm in.
Yeah. So hand me cash, right? So I did my first auction. It ended a week ago. My first one. I only had 100 lots, which is nothing. It took me a day to put up those 100. You just take one photo. That's it. And then we made 1,800 cash.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
What's the name of that group?
It's Oregon Local Auctions. So the caveat is you have to be local, right? Obviously they have to be able to pick it up or have somebody in the area that can pick it up. But if you're trying to sell some stuff, create a little Facebook group, guys, and it will grow naturally. Yeah. So it was wild. But yeah, so we're doing that. So we got Whatnot local. I've got my eBay. I do Poshmark, but small amounts. I've done Amazon in the past as well, Macari, all of them, but I don't do those currently. So those 3 are the biggest ones. And obviously I got my YouTube revenue, Facebook revenue, because I'm almost at 1 million over there. I'll be at 1 million over there pretty soon. Yeah. So that
Let me just do a slow clap.
So I mean, the revenue comes in everywhere.
Amazing.
It takes time, guys. The one thing that I regret the most, though, is I didn't start sooner. So like if you're looking to start, whatever you're looking to start, whether it's estate sales or storage units or whatever content you're looking to start, people get mixed up, guys. They think that they need to educate at the beginning. You don't need to educate. You just need to document what you're doing, and people will love you for that. So if you're looking to get into any type of reselling content, or even if you're not even a reseller and you're doing other type of content, make sure you just put yourself on the internet, because the worst thing that can happen is you do extremely well and you make a bunch of money. And for me, like, there's a span of 2.5 years. I would be over almost 1 million subscribers right now had I started 2.5 years prior, right? So just get going at it and put yourself out there and just document the process, because you don't need to educate at the beginning. People will just gravitate towards you for your personality. But don't wait too long, because if you are doing this for 3 years, now you set yourself 3 years back, right? Because when I buy a storage unit, guys, and I spend $1,000 for this storage unit, let's say it's a dud. It's really bad, right? Well, I'm out 1,000 plus gas, plus everything else that goes into it, time. But if I put that video on YouTube, I get that YouTube revenue back for the storage unit. So I'm not out, like, it's a wash, right? If I make $1,000 on the video. So that's something to think about.
Amazing.
I don't care what you're doing. Listen to Wade right now. whatever you're doing,
Stop everything
you're
you're
doing.
doing.
Stop everything
No,
you're doing.
no.
I don't care if you're knitting little Afghans or whatever in Iowa
Yeah.
or wherever you are in your life. There's an audience. We were just talking about this. Chem Life was just on from Whatnot. We were just talking about this. Document whatever you're doing in that process,
Yeah.
and just kind of put it out there. There's an audience for you. I can guarantee you. I don't care how awkward you think it is or how it feels. It'll automatically get better every time you do it. By the fifth time you do it, it'll just seem natural, like you're talking to somebody, like a friend over the FaceTime or whatever.
You know what?
As simple as that.
I agree, and it's like one thing that was intriguing about social media to me is like take away the money, take away what you're doing, the type of content you're doing. I just want to see myself 20 years younger when I'm 20 years older. You know what I mean? Like take away everything. Like take away everything, right? Like just showing yourself, because think about this, in 20 years from now, you're going to be begging to be back 20 years prior, right? Like, yeah. I just want to see myself like young and vibrant, even though I'm 40 years old, it's like so if anything, screw the money, like, just show what you're doing. And then 20 years from now, and then on top of that, there's the flip side of that. Like what you're doing today may not be what you're doing tomorrow or even 5 years or 10 years down the road. So you build like this, this just history and timeline of what you've been doing, right? So you can improve on it based on what you did prior. So there's so many advantages of putting yourself out there. And the last thing I can tell you is if you're worried about what people think, just F it. Just do what you want. I mean, at the end of the day, when you're old and they're old, you're not going to remember that one post of that person that was negative, right? And most people don't actually get negative until you get like 5,000 or 6,000 subscribers. So at the very beginning, you're going to have nothing but support from people that love you.
I got my first troll the other day.
Did you? Oh no!
I was like, "This is fantastic! I finally made it."
Yeah. So you don't normally get the first troll until quite a ways into your process.
Yeah,
so.
I don't know what I'm doing something right.
Yeah. And it's so funny too. I was listening to this podcast the other day, and it was this guy. I kind of resonated to him because he's like way bigger than I am. 20 million followers, right? And he used to get upset when he would get somebody that would leave something negative. Constructive criticism is different, but straight negative is one thing, right? And so the cool thing about YouTube is you can click their profile pic and you can see all the comments they've left on your channel. I don't know if anybody knows that. And so you can see if they're negative or positive because you click their profile pic and it'll show the last 5 comments that they left on their channel. And so that being said, you're going to find a lot of people out there that just negative. There's never any positive there. And the question you got to ask yourself is, would you take life advice from somebody like that? And your answer is probably no. Right. So why would you get upset about it? Right?
That's great advice.
Was there like 8 billion people in the world? Don't let one ruin your day.
No, because there's so many more that will make your day.
Yeah. I think more people are aligned with that type of thinking than we give credit for. I think most people realize that, but in the moment, sometimes we're all human. It can feel that way. I just want to champion you right now. Just don't listen to those negative Nellies. And I'll tell you what, you'll get more support from a stranger than you will your own family along the journey. Let me just tell you, I know you got a great family, Wade, but there are those of us who are doing this and they just can't understand the passion, the purpose, the vision, all the things that go along with it that they're not aligned for. It's not for them. Right. It was never meant for them. And that's okay. Just know that you're not crazy. You're okay. The vision is the vision that was given to you for a purpose. Just execute. Stop staying in your brain about it. Just do it.
And find your people. Find your people. Find your tribe.
Yeah.
Find your tribe for sure. I am a little envious of you, the family. Let's talk about the family. The ventures and all the stuff you got going on, all the channels. Let's shout some people out. I know Grandma we talked about. What else you got going on over there?
Well, it's I just found out like a week ago that my kid wants to be a taste tester for food, so I got to create his channel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How old?
Yeah. He's 8 or 9 now, actually. 9. Okay. Yeah. So
foodie.
He wants to be a foodie, and I'm all for it. I'm all for it. It's funny. when they were really young, I was like, man, because I've seen the other side of social media, and I'm like, do I really want to put them on? But this world is moving so fast, guys. If you've got small kids, like, you need to get them groomed early. And having a channel is, I think, in the future of 5-10 years is going to be should be on their resume. What social media do they have? But that being said, I've got the kids. They have their own channel. We've got our family channel. I'm also doing like daily behind the scenes Wade's Venture stuff on there, so you guys can see like my everyday process if you want. It's called Ventures Family TV. And then I've got Wade's Ventures, of course. I just did a banner upgrade for Grandma Ventures, so she's going to do reselling, and then she also wants to do a slot channel for casinos.
Oh,
Yeah. She loves
I'm
doing
into that, man. I'm on board. I'm gonna be a first sub for that.
So we just got the banner put in for that, so she's going to do that. I started the I can't. Alan's actually, my buddy Alan's in here, so we can't talk about my new project that's coming out soon. But we've been working on that as well.
Hello, Alan.
Yeah,
I've seen him in the YouTube. So
yeah, we love Alan.
We love Alan. Yes.
So it's just, it comes down to like, it's funny, like when you start this, even 10 years or 5 years or 2 years, like your process is going to change so much. You're going to evolve. You're going to try new things. And a lot of that actually doesn't come from yourself, but it comes from the people around you, So yeah, it's, I really want to focus on the kids channel though, to answer your question, because I want to, in 20 years, I want to go back and see them as youngsters, and so I really want to make sure that I'm doing daily videos of my kids, so that way I can really watch those videos later on. So, because videos forever. So that's what I really want to focus on, the foodie of my oldest and my youngest. I don't know what he's into yet. We're going to figure it out. But creating them and doing their content, because at the end of the day, I don't know how much longer I'll be doing this. And I want to make sure that we get them on the right foot, because even 5 years before they're 18 will help, right? So, yeah, so that's what we're doing. And then lastly, I want to get property and build a warehouse on there. So that's going to be kind of a new thing that we'll be starting up soon. So I'll be out of here, and then I want to get 4 or 5 acres, build a warehouse, and then document that whole process. So that's goal number one. Yeah.
I love those videos where you go back and you look at the process of, and then you speed it up at the end. You have a sped up version of it. And those are just lock in for me. I'm there for them. So I can't wait for that to come.
Yeah. And you don't need to start with a warehouse, folks. I mean, this one works great, but for the first 7 years, I actually worked out of storage units. So you can start small and work your way up. Start from, if you OG people out there, my living room was a straight up hoarder house for a very long time, right?
Holy I remember all those days.
Yeah. So it was
look wild. At you now. Amazing.
Yeah. Like Ashley was like, okay, we cannot have family over or friends, and she said that to me one time, and she doesn't know this, but I was like, okay, it's time, Wade. So I upgraded to the storage units, and then from the storage units to the warehouse. So everything's a process. Nothing happens overnight, and you got to believe in yourself. Yeah, for sure.
Yes, to all of that.
So
I want to just respond real quick as far as like your view on, like you said, I've heard so many people question about having kids on socials and this kind of thing, and so I have 4 kids. 2 of them are 8 and 9, and I started a channel for them. Nothing special. They just do little gaming stuff. It's really interesting to watch them have a personality, a YouTube personality, and my kids are really shy. So to hear them talking to the camera, talking to YouTube like a pro, like they're pros.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, where did this come from? I think it's really important. I think it's the future. I think media in general. Man, don't we all wish that we started sooner? Right. Yeah. And so I think that's giving them a really good head start. I love that you touched on that. I did want to ask if you would speak a little bit about work-life balance and the strains, if any, that you might have had with growing this business.
Yeah. Nobody sees behind the scenes. They only see an hour of my videos, and that's the good part. any kind of reselling job is, it's funny. I have a video the day I left corporate, and I just wanted to do a video just to show myself, like, if things get hard, why did I leave corporate? And I can see the stress on my face when I watch that video. I had a quota. I was on commission and I was salary, and so anytime I have a bad day, I always go back and watch that video and realize that life is not that hard, compared to what it used to be or what I made it out to be. The fact that I can work for myself now is fantastic. And there's going to be times that you second guess yourself. Like, was this, something that is sustainable for my family? And can I make enough money doing this? And, sometimes, just like auctions or eBay, you're relying on other people to buy your stuff, which is scary. That's why you got to have multiple avenues. But to answer your question, with all that, the notion of you working less when you have your own job is just not a thing. Okay. So
it's
if
a
you're,
fallacy.
yes. And so if you're the person, okay, you do everything, right? You do your taxes, your just everything it's on you. And so it's very important that you realize that, like, you're going to work long hours sometimes holidays you're going to work, right? But and you got to have a work-life balance because you have a partner, you have kids, you have a life, everything that's important to you kind of clashes when you're full-time.
Yeah.
And the one thing that has helped me, and believe me, I've had times where even Ashley, where I realized, okay, maybe we're working too much. One of the challenges too is, if you're working with your partner, sometimes it's tough because you're with each other all the time, right? And you got to separate work with personal. And that's another thing that you're going to run into too, if you're working with your partner. But that being said, work-life balance is very important. Early on, you're going to work hard, and there may be times that, technically you should be spending time with the family, but you've got to get your business established early on, because if you don't, you're going to be working even harder later on, And so I'm at a point now where I've worked really hard the first few years. I can take time off and it won't affect me too much. But the most important tip I can give is, when you're working, make sure you're efficient at what you're doing. So, that being said, like, there's a lot of fluff that goes into reselling, I could be organizing this corner, or I could be doing this, but what you don't realize is, like, there's levels to what you're doing. Listing is number one, and you got to make sure that you have all the important stuff done first and not the fluff done, because the fluff will add hours to your day, which then blooms up your week. And then that work-life balance becomes a problem. So make sure that what you're doing is you're being very efficient.
I feel personally attacked.
Yeah.
Organizing, sorting.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit.
But you get my point, though. It's
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So you just got to make sure that you're efficient. And part of that too is, like, at the very beginning, it may not be that you're not efficient. You just don't know the correct process, or you haven't found that yet. And know that will come with experience, right? And time. But once you have that experience and time, and you're in year one, the end of year one, year two, year three, that's so pivotal, because what happens if you fail? You're back to working for somebody else. You have no choice. So, and then if you're a part-timer that would love just to stay part-time, kudos to you, because you're making, money on the side to pay for your vacations or pay down debt or whatever the case may be. I've got this really cool couple that would love nothing more to stay part-time, but they're using that part-time money to pay off their house. Like, I respect part-timers just as much as I respect full-timers, or sometimes even more. But same thing with them. Like, you've got to also manage your time correctly so you can have that work-life balance, because especially if you have a full-time job like this guy knows, you can be consumed. And you, at the end of the day, you have kids and family that you got to attend to too, because we're not here for a very long time. So, make sure that you're spending time with your friends and family. So
we're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. So
I think what you're saying is, I think Lego did it best. Systems of systems, putting in place process, and not touching something more than once if you can avoid it. If you can do those things, then you are on the right track. So I don't want to overwhelm everybody, but there's something called the business process model. Again, I'm a data scientist. if you were to look up that, it's a very, very simplistic diagram. Document your process and how it affects your business, and it's going to help you tremendously. You're just going to,
Oh yeah.
over the course of 2 years, we scaled this thing to $250,000. So I'm not just talking to talk, and
Yep.
we're both part time during that too. It's not until recently she went full time. So it is possible to do, and all we sell is plush. That's it, just plushies.
Just plushies.
Pick something that you're passionate about and just run with it.
How many plushies do we have on the bed, though? I'm curious.
None.
None? Okay. Okay.
No, wait, no, that's not true. That's not true. We have a little pillow or whatever, one of those squishmallows.
Okay. My
Everybody's
kids
got
are.
a squishmallow. Come on.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I mean, I got like 10,000 in the back room if anybody wants one.
The squishables.
Yeah.
They do call me the Beanie Baby King because I find a lot of those in storage units. So,
Yeah. Beanie Babies, believe it or not, we do a fair business with TY. Matter of fact, TY reached out recently and they wanted us to partner with them.
Nice.
And I was just like, we don't have a storefront for that type of, thing. We're not really there yet. But it's kind of interesting that happened. But we do a fair business in the larger ones, like the Buddies and the Pillow Pals and all the other things. So there's value there. So I know the babies, you're not going to be a millionaire. Sorry about that. The Black Diamond DVDs and the Beanie Babies. Sorry, it's just not going to happen for you, no matter what you believe.
I just remember, like, a few years ago, I got this big group of Beanie Babies, and with that came like a book from 2002 or something, and it was like, this one's worth $900.
The McDonald's one, it's got the
gosh.
Yeah. I was like, no. Toys are fun. That's one area that I'm really weak in, to be honest. Toys. I mean,
you have two gurus right here.
Yes.
That you can reach out to anytime.
I'm gonna have to, because these ones, though, I'm not selling. They're my. I feel bad about some plush. I don't know what it is. I see one. I'll see something in the storage unit, not all of them, but I see one and staring at me, and I'm like, okay, you're going in the collection. So I put them up there, and they're not listed. They just sit up there.
Well, it speaks to your inner child, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. I got one. Let's see if these experts know something about this.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, you guys ready?
We have to. We'll phone a friend because my wife is the OG.
Okay.
Oh, snap!
Okay, so you know about this one? Okay.
BJ. Pop is the green one.
Yeah, there's some cool ones up here. And then there's some not so old ones, that
That's Abu.
Yeah, so
look at him.
And then I got my favorite up here.
Oh yeah.
Let's
see. I always got oh wow.
Is that Build-A-Bear?
And then
no,
Amy.
Yeah.
And then we got Pikachu up there. So so hey,
good finds. Good
collections. Yeah. I like plush because they don't break.
Yeah,
right. That's what I'm saying.
It's like
put in a poly mailer out the door.
Yeah,
out the door.
True.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite category to, like? What's your favorite thing to sell?
Gold and silver.
Well, I wish I was finding that at the bins. I did find a silver, like, I don't know if it was a ring, but silver something at the bins once.
Nice. I used to do bin videos, and then the manager kicked me out a few times. Yeah.
Oh, no.
They're like, you can't film, and I was like, no. But now they let me film in there, and I'm like, well, I don't do that footage anymore. But it was a new manager there too. That's probably why. But yeah, that's a great question. Pretty much any category. I love to find new stuff. Like, I'm not like set on just one category. I just love the thrill of the hunt. And you'd be surprised at stuff that you're like, man, I would have donated that like a couple of years ago, but now it's like, I look up everything via Google now, right? So Google image, I pretty much Google image almost everything, because you'd be surprised at what stuff sells for hundreds of dollars that you would just discard, So, but I would say I just like vintage collectibles. It could be anything. I love sports stuff too. It's so funny because I'll bring Ashley to one storage unit and we'll find Disney stuff or, stuff that she loves, and then or Christmas stuff that she loves, which is one of my least favorite things to find. Although me and Alan got this, I don't know, Alan, let me know. Are you still in chat? We can let everybody know just a little snippet. I've got this cool thing me and Alan possibly may be doing at the end of the year with our Christmas. I could probably say it here, right? So normally what I do with Christmas is I would sell the higher end stuff and then I would donate the rest, throughout the year. But I rented a storage unit. We're going to probably end up renting 2 or 3 storage units. And we're putting all our Christmas in there. And then Alan potentially has a big church that we're going to rent out. And about 4,000 square foot of Christmas we're going to throw in there from all the units.
Wow.
And then people can go in there and shop for free at the end of the year.
I love that.
Yeah. And we're going to partner with some nonprofits so they can go in there, and these people that really need help can get all the Christmas they want. And then we'll do it in November, so that way end of December they can do their tree. And we're still working on the details. We're going to have Mrs. and Mr. Santa there so they can
Are you going to be Santa?
No, I thought about it. I thought about it. But luckily, Alan's got one. He's got, yeah. I was going to offer that, but yeah. So we bought a storage unit recently that had like a massive amount of Christmas, and I'm sitting here in the warehouse staring at it, and I'm like, God, this is my least favorite thing to have. And what do I do with this stuff?
Christmas.
Yeah. And so anyway, we're still working out the details, but that goes to show, like, you can touch people's lives in whatever you're doing, and I want to help a lot of people with just free Christmas. I want to be like the Robin Hood of Christmas this year. And so that's what we're going to work on. But yeah, to answer your question, it's like, I really I don't keep anything out of storage units. If there's one thing that storage units has taught me doing this full time, is that I used to be materialistic. I spent $30,000 on a granite wall in my house. Like, I cared about what I looked like, what I wore. But when you buy storage units and you see all this stuff, you realize that it's not the stuff that makes you happy, it's the memories, right? And for me, yeah, and so I don't care about stuff anymore. I keep 0 from storage units. You can ask Ashley, there's nothing I keep from it. I literally get rid of all of it. Maybe silver or gold I'll put in my safe, but even then I sell some of it just to recoup some of the cost. Like, I don't keep anything out of it. Memories are most important to me. And because you see these people that pass away and they leave everything, their whole life in there, and I'm like, that ain't gonna be me, folks. So, yeah,
Wade's taking it with them. No.
Yeah, bury it with me.
Bury me with my gold.
Yeah,
I like that. Listen.
Yeah, I'm taking it back to the Egyptian days or something. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, and then they can find me 10,000 years from now. But I don't know. I think that, like you said, Bob, it's the most important thing that you can do is whatever you're doing. If you have a passion for it, that's what you need to dive into and find a way to make money from it, because you already know about it. You're already the expert in what you love. And for me, it's storage units in general, but for somebody else like you, maybe plush or toys, and you can make a lot of money from that because you don't need to necessarily educate yourself fully on it because you already know quite a bit about it. There's always going to be something that you learn about what you love, obviously throughout your life. But if you're already an expert in it, now you just got to implement a few other tweaks and you can make money from it. And that's what I find fascinating about storage units for me, is just the thrill of the hunt. You never know what you're going to find. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
To be everything seller just sounds so amazing to me. Sometimes I wonder if I shouldn't have niched down. And then it's like, but it looks so much better in all their totes and their. Yeah. I call it my plush army. Don't judge.
Yeah.
Look, all these soldiers in a row.
If it's the end of the world, then we need to go to your house and just make them come to life.
Want to just,
yeah,
tap into your inner child and just have a moment. Feel free to roll in it. Come on down to Alabama. We'll host you.
Yeah, it's and it's funny thing is when you buy storage units, you can buy 5 or 6 storage units and only find 5 or 6 items for eBay. The rest would be donation. But then you find one unit and the whole thing is eBay,
Mm-hmm.
eBay inventory. So, and then the way that you do it is when you buy a storage unit, like when I buy a storage unit, at least, there's so many avenues, right? So I buy the unit. I then decide where all the stuff is going, and you split it up into categories. For example, local auction, because it's too big and you don't want to ship it, but yet it's worth enough money to where you don't want to donate it, right?
Yeah.
And then you got your donation pile, right? That's stuff that is not worth dumping because it's got value, but it doesn't have enough value to sell either online or locally. And then you got your third pie would be your auctions, right? What you want to do on Whatnots, right? What will appeal to Whatnot? It's not about necessarily the price tag too much. It's what will your audience love, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you got your eBay inventory, you know. So that's your fourth avenue there. What are you gonna do with the eBay inventory? Well, the beautiful thing about that is if you don't have time to process that, you can put it in a corner and list it later. But at least you have that category as well. And for me, I got a fifth category nobody actually has, and that's Grandma Ventures Auctions inventory.
Nice.
So I give her stuff to sell. Yeah, so you won't have that category, guys, but that's another category. So, you know, when you buy storage units, you're going to have to figure out really quickly how to get rid of this stuff in a proper manner to which that you make the most money. And that's the way that I kind of categorize things. And you do that right away. Your brain will do it automatically after a while.
Mm-hmm.
It'll kind of figure, okay, this goes there, and then it'll just become like a passive, you know. One last thing, it's funny. I read this article of this doctor, and he was very smart about this. He said that when you're a kid, it seems like time slows down. It's for, you know, remember, bring yourself back when you were a kid. It seemed like summers were so long, and days were so long, and then as you get older, it seems like things go quicker and quicker and quicker. And what he said was the days are still the same length, the time is still the same time. It's just your brain gets used to the same patterns and it speeds up time. It's because you're used to doing the same thing every day. And so time goes quicker when you do the same thing. Whereas when you're a kid, you're experiencing all these new things. And so that's one thing that I really want to challenge myself in is trying new things these next few years, not necessarily to slow down time, but just to experience new things.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I'm trying to do this year as well. And that's one thing I love about storage units is it's always a new adventure, new inventory, new product, and new ways to get rid of it. And that's one beautiful thing about it. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna throw out a dying question that I think everybody has. Amanda put it in chat. When you're looking at a storage unit, I know it's years of experience, but what is it that you're like, what do you see to know that, yes, this is what you want to buy, that storage unit?
Yeah, so it does take years of, like, I think it's a gut feeling a lot of times when I buy units. You got to put yourself in their position, you know. One thing, there's things that you look for. For me, it's, did they take care of their mattress? Did they take care of their clothes? Is there clothes everywhere? I want to see if they took care of the basic necessities in the unit, because you'd be surprised when stuff is just tossed everywhere. But I want to see if they took care of their, like, everyday stuff. Did they put a mattress cover on? Is their clothes neatly hung up or folded? And you can see some of that based on the totes or, you know, the bags that they have in there. So that's one thing I look for. I look for solid wood furniture, not IKEA furniture. Nothing wrong with IKEA furniture, but I want to look for expendable income, people that have money, you know. So that's one thing that I look for is solid wood furniture. I also look to see, like, is there dust in the unit? I want to see, have they invested enough money in that unit? For example, have they been renting there for a while, or did they just put their stuff in storage? Because that will determine how old the stuff is, but also, like, do they have skin in the game? Did they spend $10,000 over a period of a few years to pay for their stuff, right? You know, that's another thing that I look for. And you'll just find these little, remember, it's tuition, just like anything, like Whatnot or eBay, or, you know, the time that you went to a garage sale and bought something for $20 and found out it was only worth $15 when you got home. Like, everything is tuition. And so when you buy storage units over time, you kind of get, like, you know, that knowledge and that, you know, basic understanding of if this is going to be a good unit or not. I also like a lot of boxes because it's good for storage. It's great for videos. Remember, what I'm looking for may be different than what you're looking for, because, see, if people are not on YouTube, they'll go after those units that have tools and big bulky items and stuff that they can sell. But for me, that doesn't make good footage. So I have to go after the units that have boxes and different things, because people want to see the mystery of it all. They don't want to me to open up a storage unit and just see a bunch of tools, right? So there's so many things that go into it. But at the end of the day, if you would pack your stuff in there like that, and you feel like that was a good way that they packed it, then that may be a good unit to buy. But if you go on there and you see the unit tossed, or if it's not a way that you would pack the unit personally, then I'd probably stay away.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We have a question from Amanda, and we are broadcasting through Spotify. So if you're not following us on Spotify, make sure you follow us there as well. Be happy to wait along with you during your adventures out there in picking and sourcing. So be sure to follow us on Spotify. And Amanda Smith says, how far have you traveled for a unit?
That's a great question. I'm kind of bougie. I don't travel very much, Yeah, I think the most I traveled was about an hour and a half. The good thing is when you go to these sites like Storage Treasures or Locker Fox or Bid13 or StorageAuctions.com or StorageAuctions.net, all these websites that sell storage units, you can plug in up to 500 miles in which to travel, right? That's one thing that I would like to change this year. Alan, my buddy Alan, and me would like to travel to Texas and who knows, go to some of the eastern states and buy storage units. And we want to also connect with people that are following the channel and maybe meet up with them and buy one with you guys. But that being said, traveling's not an issue. You just got to factor in the cost to travel to the unit, and doesn't make sense for you to buy that unit and get the stuff home. So really it's up to whatever you decide. If you want to rent a U-Haul and travel 4 states over for a unit that you think is great, then by all means do it. But you got to understand that there's cost of the U-Haul, the gas, factor in your time, dump, and then to travel all the way back to your house. So, but I can give you one piece of advice is, if you don't take risk, it will never be there. You always, the people that take the risk in life are the ones that are going to succeed. Or they may fail a few times, but eventually they will succeed, So for me, I'm okay with traveling if it's a really good one. And we're going to probably do that this year, travel some of the states that I've never been, like Texas, and Florida would be fantastic as well.
Love that.
So, yeah.
No risk, no reward, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's, that's experience is the ultimate teacher. So
I've said this multiple times on the podcast. If you are scared to death, you're doing it right. That means you're thriving.
Yeah.
So just know that if the growth is painful, you got to push through it. Yeah. Trust me, you're going to do great.
Just like working out, nobody wants to work out.
I mean, some of us come by naturally, buddy.
It's called the farm strength. The farm strength. Okay. I'm
originally from Connecticut, so I can't take any Alabama heat.
Okay,
we have mama strength. I have mama strength from carrying that car seats.
That's a real thing.
Yeah, 4 kids on this arm.
That's a real thing. I grew up on a farm, and I love my grandma and grandparents. They meant so much to me. But yeah, I was out there 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I had school the next morning. I'm sweeping stalls. So yeah, it was a different time, the stuff that they would have done, child services would have been all over it today, but it made me a great person.
Feelings now all of a sudden. What the heck's going on?
Yeah. I
allowed to have feelings.
Yeah. I hit my kid on the butt with my foot the other day, and
yeah,
I'm like, oh, you have no idea. That would have been so,
You're in a safe space right now. It's okay. Sometimes it gives me a little
yeah. So, but it's like, it's crazy how time flies so much. And I just think that, like, at least for me, like, I want to make sure that I'm trying to improve myself every day. And I also want to make enough money to where I'm not putting in a retirement home. I want to, venture off onto the sunset on a beach somewhere, so that's really important to me.
It sounds like a YouTube channel in itself right there.
Yeah. So I'm like, I got to have all my ducks in a row, because I'm not playing bingo for the rest of my life when I turn 80,
If you were offered, I'm going to ask you a question. If you were offered international travel to do this through YouTube, like say you made a collaboration, someone's out there watching and they want to have you on there, is that something you'd be interested in doing?
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah, I would. I there is storage auctions in other countries too,
Yeah.
and I've always wanted to do that, but I've also wanted to do airport auctions, which I've never done. So if anybody knows how to do that, yeah. So you can
Like
buy
what?
it. Yes, that'd be so much fun.
Right. I have heard of that.
Yeah, you've done that?
No, I haven't done it. I've heard of it.
Oh my god! I was saying, hey, I'll be your bestie. We'll do that. So yeah, that's on the bucket list for sure. Traveling would be fantastic. I also was talking with Alan again. You know, God, Alan, I don't know, was this 6 months ago, buddy? But we were thinking about doing a cruise, a reselling cruise, where we invite a bunch of resellers to do a cruise.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I've never been on a cruise. I always wanted to.
Oh, it's so much fun. They're floating islands.
I've never been on a cruise either.
Oh, you guys.
Same.
And the cool
We're
thing about
deprived.
yeah, can you imagine if we got like 50 or 60 resellers on a cruise? Like, you know, that would be a lot of fun. So that's something that, you know, who knows? Maybe we can do something like that in the future for sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I tell you, it's just like a big reseller meetup. I'm a big fan all of a sudden of those. Trying to put myself out there more though. Like when I get there, like I'm better on camera than I am in person. In person, I'm just like feels very like planetary, orbiting. Like I don't want to say clicky because that's not nice. I don't think that's what's happening. It says they know of each other. Yeah, and it is orbital. So it's hard to break into that sometimes and put yourself out there, but that's what I'm going to challenge myself for this year.
That's what has smaller fish, right? Like small fish in a big pond.
Yeah, it's I was a guest speaker for eBay for 3 years, and I did their global shipping program for eBay Open in Vegas, and then I did their influencer program. And I remember the first time I was on the stage, I was like, "Don't pass out, don't pass out, don't pass out," because you're just sitting up there on a stool and you're sitting in front of hundreds of people.
That's
and
YouTube.
It hits different. It really does hit different.
It does. And I'm like, could you give me like a sturdier chair? Like, Jesus. And I probably ran through like 3 waters, but ultimately it was a great experience. If you don't do it now, when are you going to do it? You know, that's the only thing. It's for me, like I have fears. I don't like flying on planes, but I'm getting better at it. You know, that's just I'm claustrophobic and I don't like flying on planes. But you know, it's just one of those things. And by the way, I've never admitted that before. Nobody knows that except Ashley.
It's okay. Nobody's watching. You're fine.
Yeah. So but you know, to your point, like you said, you know, it's things that you want to work on. And so that's something that, you know, and it sucks for reselling because I would love to go to Oklahoma, you know, a few times, but I've always got to have somebody with me, you know, it's just one of the things. So yeah, you know, just got to work through it, whatever, you know, business you're in or whatever personal stuff you're working through. This year is the year to do it because next year is too late. So
yeah. This is usually the time of the podcast where we ask our guest who they would like to see on the podcast. And before we do that, I want you to really think about this for a second. Okay. I'm gonna cue it up.
Okay.
Wade Ventures. Who would you like to see on Launchpad Reseller Podcast?
Well, it's got to be a storage unit buyer.
Obviously.
I've got to think of somebody. There's actually a few people I'd love to see on here. So it's tough to narrow them down, to be honest. There's so many good ones. You know, I think Storage Auction Pirate would be fantastic because he has got a really he's got so much energy to him, that guy. So Mike would be great. Jeebus would be fantastic. His brother used to do the artwork for my YouTube channel. Great channel. Obviously, you guys know him.
He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah. Jack would be fantastic. We love Jack. And there's so many good ones out there.
It's hard to pick just one, I'm sure.
It is, yeah. Hopefully none of them are watching. I'm going to make
you pick one because then we're going to give you a hard time.
Yeah,
all the other ones are going to give you a hard time about it.
Yeah. Let's get Pirate on next and then ask him the next question.
All right,
let's get Pirate. Because I feel like Pirate would do he's made, I think he made almost $1 million last year on Whatnot.
Wow.
So he would be a great, I mean, he's done it all as well. You know, me and Pirate were before anybody on YouTube, you know, even before pretty much everybody, right? And then shortly after, you saw these other channels pop up. So he's an OG. He's been doing it for a while. I think that'd be a good one. Storage Auction
We'd
Pirate.
yeah, we would definitely love to have him on,
If
and
I can text him and see if he'll do it. I'm sure
yeah,
he will.
it'd be awesome if they could. We like that type of thing. We want to, like we said in the beginning, this is a reseller community. We're all about that and lifting each other up. When we rise together. I truly, honestly believe that. I am a part-time reseller, but I have a full-time heart for it.
Yeah.
And hopefully that transcends through the camera when we're talking about it. So I truly mean it. There's a lever for everybody, and I think this 2026 is going to be the year for a lot of people to upscale and do that. And we're going to open up to chat for questions, unless you have a question for us, Reed, before we go.
Yeah, Pirate has a great story. He was homeless and then just blew it up. I mean, that guy was just amazing.
Wow.
Well, I know who I need to go to for toys and plush. So that was, and I get a lot of those. What's the maximum price you recommend beginners pay? It's tough. That's a great question. I get it all the time. I have such a high pain tolerance for risk. I love going to Vegas, so, but you got to think of this as, yes, there's inventory in there, but you're going to make plenty of mistakes when you're at the beginning of your buying experience, like I did. And so two things. I don't recommend you buy a big unit, because there's nothing worse than buying a very bad unit that's massive. So stay away from anything that's bigger than like a 5x10, okay, storage unit. And then buy something that's smaller, maybe like a 5x5 or 5x10, but nothing bigger. And then stick to a budget in which that you're okay with that money flying away. Because if you spend $500 and you don't make a ton in it, you're not just out the 500, you're out the gas, and if you have to rent a truck, and your time, and the fees. There's fees too, and then also taxes in your area depending on where you live. So a lot of fees that are involved with storage unit buying, and then there's dump fees as well if you can't donate it. So if you think that you're willing to spend $400, maybe buy a $200 unit, because there's going to be those extra fees. But then the other side of it too is a lot of times you buy what you get. So if you're buying a cheap unit, don't expect gold or silver, because typically the price will dictate the type of inventory you're getting. So that's a question you're going to have to ask yourself, right? I tend to stay in the range of like $550, $600 all the way up to $3,000. So that's the range you probably want to stick in to buy decent inventory, if that makes sense.
Love that.
Bet the money you're willing to lose is always a good gamble when you're gambling. So
yes, I agree.
There was another question I want to show real quick. The Bearded Find says, so when it comes to your number one regret, what would it be, good or bad? I guess it would be bad in that case. Number one regret, no regrets.
Oh God, I got a lot of regrets actually, but that's just experience, that you had to live from. Let's see. So I've got a couple. One, I regret not doing social media 3 years prior. I think about that all the time. Like I don't know what, I just like, I'm too busy, or I don't know how to edit. All that stuff is so easy now. I couldn't get the banner like artwork done. Like there's so many excuses that I had early on for not doing it earlier on. And that cost me a lot. You believe it or not, that 1 year you do not do it sets you back so much, right? So I do regret not starting social media up earlier. I've got a lot of regrets, but that's probably one of the bigger ones. I also kind of regret not getting a warehouse earlier, because I would have been so much more efficient earlier on. Like I got B over here helping me. I would have had her 2 or 3 years prior and have been further along, right? Obviously that comes with more expense, and there's a lot more factors involved there, but I was too scared to move off of just renting a storage unit for space. I should have just got the warehouse earlier on. Those are the two bigger ones that I wish I would have changed. And then the last couple of years, one of my biggest regret, just the last couple of years, something more recent, is I've kind of got disconnected from the reselling community. And part of that is to do with just making excuses to why I can't reach out to other people like yourself. I've been invited to so many podcasts and I've said no to all of them, right? So I kind of want to get back into the reselling community, and that's something that's the whole reason I started this, and that's the whole reason I was invited to eBay Open all those years, is because I was a reseller, not because I was a storage unit buyer. And so now that's my biggest regret the last few years, is just not rekindling some of these relationships that I've had and making new ones. Surrounding myself with people that do the same thing as I do, regardless of where they find the inventory.
Now I feel extra lucky to have you on.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will say that the
Thank you.
reseller community is very understanding of those things, because I think we all experience them to a degree. We sometimes can get locked into our own mindset and our own workflow, and sometimes fall off, and that's by intention, because you're locked
Yeah.
in and you're trying to get it done, right?
Yeah.
But that's what's great about this community is, like, when you come back, they will graciously welcome you back with open arms.
Yeah.
So I've seen it time and time and again for other people. So we appreciate that tidbit, because it will help someone else. Also, as we grow as a channel and grow as resellers, that's also very, like, sage advice, I think, to continue to think in that regard. For me, I enjoy social media for the purpose of the purpose. That's why I'm growing my social media. We all have different reasons for it. Monetization and all the other stuff is whatever it is. Money's nice, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
So having a legacy ties back to everything that you've said in this podcast from the moment you came on, building towards that and being remembered for the type of man and the type of reseller and the type of community participant. Says volumes in itself. So that's what I'm working towards, is the legacy of reselling. And I'm about it. And 2026 for me is going to be the year for that, and looking to grow that. So I'm looking forward to that.
And a lot of people are into plush, a lot of people are into reselling, and a lot of people are into you and what you guys are doing. So
I love the business side of it, the data side, the business side. And a lot of people don't enjoy that. It's not what they like, the sourcing stuff. I like sourcing, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to the other side of it, the other side of the coin, I'm the guy you're probably going to want to talk to at the meetup, because I'm going to be the one to give you the most insight into your business from the numbers point of view, the software point of view, the processes, the procedures, and all the stuff that nobody really wants to think about it, because it's not the funnest thing in the world. So
it's get good at what you're not good at, and so you'll find that
for sure.
So,
we all have that one thing we want to work at. So
and that's including me, the data side, and the numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
Not my forte.
Yeah.
You got another question. This one's a good one. How do you handle competition?
Oh God.
Spicy.
What competition?
Miss Rose, do you live in Oregon?
I'll leave it up here so everyone can see the question.
Yeah, do you live in Oregon? Gosh, this is going to be a whole nother topic, to be honest, because I've got a lot to say on this. But I'll try to keep it short and brief.
Sure.
Storage units used to be a lot cheaper, even 4 or 5 years ago, they were much cheaper than they were today. $200 unit, even 3 or 4 years ago, is now an $800 unit today. And I think there's a lot of factors in with that. Remember, 2020 hit, majority of these units were live, where you go in person, whether it's raining, snowing, whatever the conditions were, even if it was sunny, it was mostly live, like you see on the TV shows. But when 2020 hit, they then went online, right? Obviously because COVID, and they didn't want everybody in one location. And it's hard to stay 6 feet apart when you're at a storage facility. So naturally, these prices are rising because it's on the internet now. Anybody can bid, and they can bid from the comfort of their home. And so when that ties into the competition, you're going to find a lot more competition now than you were even a few years ago because of that. Also, too, a big portion of this is they think, it's the YouTubers driving up these prices. There's only like 7 big YouTube channels that do storage units. That's really it. There's only about 7 of us. And the majority of the traffic for people that were finding out about storage units didn't come from YouTube. It came from TikTok. Because people were creating these 1-minute videos on TikTok, and they were making $500 or $600 per video, which paid for the storage units. And so, and not only that, TikTok is the fastest growing platform out there. I mean, it's actually, they do more coverage than any other social media platform combined, including YouTube. So if you want to grow your social media, please start TikTok. The only problem, though, is just 6 months ago they switched their payment structure, so those people that were making $500 or $600 are now only making $10.
Mm.
Well, I think a lot of that was, what's been happening politically with TikTok and having to reorganize their data structures and all the other stuff. I won't go nerding on you, but there's a lot more going to it than that. But it's changed the game because of that, because the hands have changed. So now the money's different.
Yes, and so my point here is these people are not making the hundreds of dollars to pay for these units anymore. So I'm hoping that obviously that drives down the prices and the competition a little bit, because I got to tell you, it's much easier to make a 1-minute video on a storage unit than it is to film a 1-hour video or 2-hour video in the unit, right? So the commitment is night and day difference, and that's why. So to answer your question, you're going to find there's a lot of competition, but there's also gems. Like there's units that you can buy that are $200, and that one box in the corner's got a bunch of really expensive stuff in it, right? I'll give you one example. This was recently. I bought a unit. Well, it was about a year ago. Okay, I bought a unit a year ago, which prices were just as much high as they are today, and bought it for $500, and we found $30,000 worth of gold and silver back then. And this was a year ago, right? So
silver went crazy this year.
Yeah. I mean, that's another regret. Whoever asked that question. So you're gonna have, but like anything, I think the competition, personally, in my opinion, is much lower in the storage auction space than it is Goodwills now and thrift stores, personally, because not only do you have other resellers, but you also have their boutiques, and some of these Goodwills are selling online, which is not new news. When you buy a storage unit, you have a chance of getting a lot of something really expensive. There's units that I buy that have just packed full of collectibles, and you couldn't have ran across and paid $500 for that in a Goodwill, or even at a garage sale in most cases. So that being said, yes, there's competition, but the upside is so much higher than anything else. So and really what it comes down to is, as long as you're listing, however you're selling stuff, as long as you're making money, then you shouldn't have a problem paying for the units, because at least you got money coming in to pay for the next unit. Where you get in trouble is when you don't list product to have that money come in to then pay for more units. So as long as you have a great listing, or getting it in front of buyers, as long as you're good at that, then you should have no problem with the competition wherever you're at.
What's the largest amount you've ever paid for a locker? I'm just going to ad hoc real quick. I'm just curious.
Believe it or not a lot. I'm trying to think. I think the most I've ever spent was $9,000.
That's not bad when you really think about it.
No, you've seen all the units I've gotten. Yeah.
It's actually not really horrible.
I wanted to. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just reading a comment.
Yeah, I wanted to shout out. The Bearded Finds asked. I think he's asking for a friend. But he says, would you ever bring a guest up and let them experience what it's like when it comes to storage units?
So like fly somebody out to do a unit? Is that what you're asking?
I think so.
So we're actually already planning on doing that this year. Me and Alan are planning on traveling and then inviting people. The problem is I can't give too much details because it ties into our new project we're doing together. Mm-hmm. But basically, we are planning on going to Texas, Florida, different parts of different states, California, and even some smaller states, buying a storage unit, inviting people out there, not only to film, but also give them inventory, the stuff that we can't handle because we're states away. Yeah. So we're going to provide inventory a lot of cases because we can't obviously fly a lot of this stuff back or even ship a lot of this stuff back. And then we're also going to film with them and then, basically travel the United States. We want to do that. We're going to start mid this year, but also hopefully the end of this year. That's our plan.
I think everybody's like me.
So that'd be, and the cool thing about that, guys, is so easy. Think about this. Let's say there's a great unit in Tennessee, right? All we have to do is pay for it and then have you slap the lock on it. And then we've now secured a really good unit, and all I want to do is fly out there. See, the problem with storage units is you never know what's going up. But remember, if we can buy it, rent it for a couple months, and then slap a lock on there, we can fly out there anytime to film it.
Yeah.
So very easy process.
That's a unique idea. I love that.
Yeah. So that's what we definitely are planning on doing that. It's people don't really understand how much work storage units are. They don't see they only see the 1 minute or 1 hour video of going through the stuff. So it's work. So be prepared for that. But I think it'd be a great experience for fellow resellers. And remember, out of any storage unit buyer, I really want to help other storage units. Even locally, there's some people here that buy storage units. I'm like, hey, if you ever want to film with me, I'm game. So I'm all about it. I'm all about we all lift each other up, right? And there's plenty of storage. The one business that's going away anytime soon would not be storage units, because there's more facilities going up than ever before, storage facilities. And people don't realize that the majority of storage facilities, the stuff that's in them is not from people that own apartment or that rent apartments. It's people that own houses.
Yeah, it's a big problem here in Huntsville because they can't build housing fast enough for the job market down here. So if you're, seeking work and you're an engineerish type, Huntsville is where it's at. Let me just tell you.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is, with jobs comes housing.
Yeah.
Housing creates storage units. Storage units create resellers. So it's just like
it's a never-ending.
It really is. So with growth comes that, and that's a good point to bring up. So
yeah, that was a great question. That was a great question.
In a world of consumers, we're not getting out of a job anytime soon.
No. The only thing that worries me about the reselling portion of it is, and again, it doesn't really worry me because nothing really worries me. I just, you just got to move on with the times. But we are getting our generation's obviously getting older, and I'm wondering as technology gets better, like the other day, I'm like, hey, what's a CD? And they don't know what a CD is. You get my point. Like I was talking with Alan, and he said just 15 years ago, 20 years ago, he would sell his Beatles collection, his CD Beatles collection that used to be worth $15. Now it's worth 25 cents. So I'm just wondering, as technology gets better and this older stuff gets older, is there, what I mean? There's always going to be a market for it, but it won't be as big. That's the only thing that is interesting. But
yeah, so I think it depends. Like technology is one of the harder ones, I think, to resell. But there is still market, like you said. I mean, if I had something that I really enjoyed, like an old Sony VCR, and I didn't have the remote for it, some of those can get up there pretty high. I mean, that's just one example. I've seen a Sony remote go for like $800 because it was a specific, like 600 disc changer or something. I mean, that's a rare case, obviously, but I mean, there's still room, but you got to be more selective when it comes to electronics, I think, and tech in general.
100%. Yeah, remotes are so fun to sell too because you just pull.
I mean, they're so easy.
And they take very little space, easy to test, and the only part that I don't like is cleaning the corroded area if it's corroded batteries. But other than that, they're great.
Same problem with electronic plush. Let me just tell you. Stories. Stories. Anyways,
how do you clean your batteries real quick? Do you use baking soda?
So yeah, you can use. See, little backstory. I'm a mechanic by design. That's what I went to. I was in the Air Force for a while, and I was an aerospace propulsion specialist, and I worked for NASA as well. So
we got a smart cookie here, Bob. We'll shut this off now here.
But there are a few things that you can do. Vinegar is also a good option for soaking electronics in some cases. It just got to be very specific of what you're doing and do your research. There's other ways to do it. There's heating on low heat with a a heat gun. But you got to make sure you're far enough away. Not just baking soda and water, because that is a good option. Should be your first go-to. Isopropyl alcohol could help. Just a few tips and tricks that you can use. So there's a bunch of stuff.
This should be a YouTube video.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I have a queue of YouTube tech videos that I want to do. It's just time for me. I did one about nifty.ai. We use that to cross list.
Nice.
So if you're interested in that, you can check that out. I can't help but say Code Rocket City will save you 15% off your first month because I'm a shameless promoter, Wade. Get off my back about it.
No, it's I'm all about it. So that's get 50% off now, guys.
Yeah,
okay.
Right. But in all seriousness, it has tripled our business this past year, and that's why we're so successful so quick. So I can't say enough about cross listing for us. That works. Whatnot has really helped with that as well. You could do a hell of a business if you have the mindset for Whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Let me just tell you, especially with storage lockers. Like, those guys, man, some of those storage locker. We had what's it, Mother Flipper X on recently, and she's in that category, and she's absolutely crushing. So
yeah, I mean, I've done 2 or 3 hour shows and made 10, 15 grand. So yeah, just in a few hours, the average for me is like 4,000 or 5,000, for a few hours, but you do that a few times, you're making some good money. And it just takes time, and don't give up. If you're on the Whatnot train, don't give up.
It's a grind. It can be a grind if you don't come with a presence. It really can be. We did things backwards here. We want to make sure that we were successful in reselling before we went and did the YouTube and all the other stuff. Because the last thing I want to come on here is tell you I'm authoritative source and not know what the hell I'm talking about. Because there's no value there for anybody. So I wanted to make sure I knew that if I were to lock in, that I could do it. So I think that's just for everybody. Pick something that you're really passionate about. Again, it's all the same thing over and over again. Iterate, educate, execute. That's where people fail.
Yep.
So execute.
I agree. And then good things will happen as you do that,
Yeah, with the work ethic, man, you're going to be unstoppable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. I agree. I'm still there. I'm like, oh man, I'm not where I want to be. So got to continue.
Here we go. Another question. We got 2026 Moon Gazer says, Wade, I'm in Washington and I would love to go spend a day going through a locker with you and Ashley. Well, there you go. Maybe your first
Moon. You can always send me an email. Absolutely. I actually buy storage units in Washington, Moon. So just keep that in mind.
There's another one. Biscuit Butt says, would you rather I'd something on a unit, possible pound of gold in the bottom, or a porta potty, I'm not sure, or one with live alligator guarding $100,000?
Okay, the pot. Dude, I'd wrestle the hell out of that alligator. Just give me the alligator. Yeah,
I think I'd be like trying to make standing on an alligator. That's what I was trying to go for in the intro. I was trying to do a Ric Flair, woo! But
Yeah, no, I would wrestle that thing and then grab that 100,000.
Yeah,
and do a little taxidermy for. No, I'm joking. That was a joke.
Some boots, come on.
I would eat the gator first because I've never had gator before. So
I heard it's delicious, but I've never tried it.
Yeah, gator nuggets. Yeah, no, I've never tried it either.
When you go to Florida, you think it's a requirement. You have to go there.
Yeah, now I've maybe when we buy a storage unit in that area, Alan, you want to try some gator nuggets with me? I'm down. Yeah.
Make sure to film it, okay?
Yeah.
Yes. Bring your son, the foodie.
Yes. Yeah.
Content.
He was eating spicy stuff the other day, and I'm thinking, my gosh, that is not my kid because I don't like spice.
Did he do the whole no reaction?
Yeah. He acted cool. He acted cool, and then so I'm proud of him. Having kids that, there's a line, right? You got to be careful, obviously, and you got to teach them, don't give out your address, not your name. We use his first name and Ventures is the last name. Ventures is not our family name, so that's fine. And, and they got to understand that too. And then once they do, it's really important. I think that gains they get a lot of perspective of interacting with other people. And then confidence is a huge thing too, so, but there is a balance because you don't want them on there 9 hours a day too. So it's one of those things, but yeah, I'm proud of these kiddos, and none of them want to do storage units. So it looks like this is probably going to end with me, which is fine. So I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Our 17-year-old has no desire to do plush. So this ends here.
Well, hopefully you're making all this money. You set him up for success for whatever he wants to do later on.
Well, part of our Whatnot journey this year is going to be taking that money that we're making on Whatnot and setting it aside so he doesn't have to mortgage his future education. So that's our goal for that, because student loan debt can be crippling. It's a real problem in this country. Yeah. And whatever you can do to help mitigate that and set your children up for success in future years, I'm all for. Yep. And that's kind of the goal for Whatnot with us this year. We're going to try to do that. And he's running off to college in the fall, the youngest. And yeah, that's it. It's all about the plushies and the work and the, having some fun along the way and meeting exciting new people and all the things. So we're looking
He
for
wants to be
that.
an attorney. Oh, it's exciting.
Yeah, well, we were foster parents. That's how we started this thing.
Oh, nice.
So along that way, I think he had a heart for family law and being a family attorney because he sees the impact of that, life, and that's what he wants to do to try to make a difference in this world. So we're really proud of that, and hopefully that's something he'll stick the course with. I mean, obviously, when you're off to college, you can change your mind along the way.
Yeah.
He also has a political mindset, so you never know. You could be the future president of the United States.
Hey,
You never know.
Caleb for president.
Can you have him autograph a plushie for me?
Yeah, right.
I know, right? It's, I don't know if he'll want to touch one. Wade. That's how deep it is.
Oh man, I couldn't agree more. I think that not to get too far into it, but 20 years from now, things are just going to be that more expensive. Not because of what's going on, but just it just is what it is, and on top of that, I think with technology, who knows what job situations are going to be like. So I think setting not only your kids up, but yourself up. So that way in 20 years, you wish that remember 20 years from now, you're going to want to be where you're at today. So, so I think
you don't want the aches and pains that you're feeling today. Trust me.
Yeah,
you would rather these than the ones that are coming.
Yeah, I had one today I've never felt before in my shoulder. I'm like, what's going on?
Welcome to the club, buddy. I got about 10 years on you.
Oh no! Yeah, I just did a little. Oh, dude. So yeah, it's very exciting times we're in, and I think that reselling is only going to get that much nicer. I think the next 10 years is going to be kind of our golden years. So get going on it. Whatever you're doing. Yeah. Selling plushies or
whatever it is that you're doing, do it and do it intentionally. Intention is everything. I think what's coming next for just technology is agentic AI. It's basically right now ChatGPT will give you the answer, but what if you had a taskmaster to tell it to do the task that you want it to do? That's agentic AI. That's what's coming next. You heard it here first, folks. Get on board.
Yeah, can you put a couple of ticker symbols in the chat? Yeah, just a little something for us, for us regular folk that hadn't worked for NASA or anything.
Yeah, real.
Just something in there,
I've thought about taking a pause and doing some sort of like program or something like that, but then it feels like work to me, and it's no more. Yeah. There's no more fun or passion in it.
Yeah.
So I know that sounds silly and a little bit ridiculous, but it's not what I enjoy about it.
Well, you enjoyed working with your partner. That's the beautiful thing about this. So and don't get me wrong. I love the fact that like my kids, I can be supportive with whatever they want to do, as long as they want to do it, which is kind of like what you just said, supporting them in anything. Cause at the end of the day, life is just, people used to say this to me all the time when I was like in my 20s, like life is too short, and I'm like, shut up.
This is my wife's answer to working with me.
It's okay. It's okay. Oh God.
It's okay.
I actually would say the same thing.
Whatever. Whatever.
Okay. Yeah. I'm all right. Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I understand. I understand completely.
When you're day in, day out with someone, sometimes it could be, doing this with a partner is definitely challenging, even a business partner. I mean, you have Alan. I would assume that you guys are of that caliber. You're your business partners or whatever. And then you have your family.
I think of Alan as like, I got asked this question the other day, like, we're not tied financially, but like I feel like Alan is more family than anything. I got to meet his family in Vegas recently, and so I consider Alan family more than anything. I met him because he went to one of my garage sales years ago. I actually met him in eBay, but I completely forgot. It was in Vegas, eBay Open. I met him but that was like I was meeting a ton of people, and I can
only imagine what that's like.
Yeah, it was the interesting thing about being on YouTube when you get like over 100,000 is like you get recognized in weird spaces. Like I got at the grocery store, Alan got recognized. I get recognized in casinos all the time. I don't know what it is. I got a bunch of degenerates that follow me. I don't know, but
well, it's a gamble. A storage locker is a gamble, right? So
Yeah.
it's the same thing.
We were on a cruise ship, me and my buddy Jason, and these kids looked like they were 17, recognized me on the cruise ship, you know? So yeah, you get recognized everywhere, and I get recognized at the grocery stores all the time as well. And it's just one of those things that like it's always weird because people come up to you and they know you, but you don't know them. But at the end of the day, I really hope that I have inspired people to buy storage units. If you were to ask me that, like I hope that like people thought of Wade's Ventures as somebody that they watched my videos and it's inspired them to buy a storage unit, to then resell, to then make money, to then better their situation. And that's what I hope I've inspired in people. You know, that's at the end of the day, that's what I started the YouTube channel. I did 100 interviews. I didn't do storage units. If you look back at my oldest videos, it was 100 interviews, and it was of people with under 100 subscribers, all of them. And that was my qualification, is you had to have under 100 subscribers for me to interview you. And because I wanted to help other resellers out with social media. So that's what I'm hoping I'm known for, is just inspiring other people to try to resell and to make money by doing that. So
it's a legacy to be worthy of, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting to the end of this thing. We want to thank you, and we appreciate you coming in and taking the time to not only uplift the community, but also uplift our channel. It means a great deal, I know for sure. I'm gonna go ahead and do closing thoughts around the horn. We're gonna start with Ellie, Tennessee Treasures, and see if she would like to just give you her most heartfelt thank you, because I know she's a fan for sure.
I was definitely fangirling. Absolutely. Thank you so much for saying yes to us when you said no to so many others. Maybe it was just the luck of the draw. I really do appreciate it. I resonate with a lot of what you said today. And I'm leaving this, and I hope everybody that is listening is also leaving this a little more inspired to just do what you can for yourself. Reselling can really change lives. And I want to remind people, progress over perfection. Get it done.
Yeah, for sure. And Sheesh had 244, Ashley.
Mine is the same, just blown away. You are, as we said, a reseller's reseller, and just coming in and putting in the, hey, this is what can happen, this is what you need to do, the realness of it. Just appreciate you so much for joining.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Ashley. You've got a beautiful name as well.
Yeah, so Wade, let's talk about where people can find you before we wrap things up. Where would they be able to find? Obviously YouTube.
Yeah, so you can follow me on YouTube, Wade's Ventures. You can follow our family channel, Wade's Ventures Family TV. That's where we kind of post the behind the scenes, and then we also do like the Disney trips and the Vegas trips, so stuff like that. And then lastly, if you're local here in Oregon or Washington, Local Oregon Auctions is a Facebook group. You can follow us on there if you want to purchase stuff from our local auction. So, and then obviously TikTok and Instagram and Facebook as well, is all under Wade's Ventures if you want to follow there as well. So, yeah.
Well, you're an absolute legend for coming on. We appreciate you so much. I want to remind everybody, if you can't be good at it. We'll catch you on the next one on the Launchpad Reseller Podcast. Wait, stick around for just 1 second. I want to ask you one thing. Okay, sure. We're gonna wrap things up. Thank you everybody for coming in. We appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next podcast.